Hello, everyone. Jackie Edwards here. Thank you so much for joining me today, doing a little bit of an impromptu Facebook Live. So I just wanted to catch you at the beginning of the year to talk about why lead generation is so important. Now, I am running a lead generation 5-day challenge right now, so we're on day 3. If you haven't seen that, yeah, there's a couple of links posted if you scroll through the page. So I'd suggest you jump into that, and I'll add you into the Facebook group, and you can kind of catch up to where we're at. Because so far, with just 2 days that I've done, generated probably about 200 leads for kind of a rent-to-rent business. So I wanted to, it really, running this challenge has basically really kind of brought to me the importance again of why lead generation is so important. And I wanted to break it down a little bit in this kind of live at lunchtime talk for you. So at the beginning of the year, I know a lot of people, and this is what I do, is we come up with our goals for the year. So it's the perfect time of year. It's kind of that getting started phase, the end of the last year, we can kind of reassess our results, see where we got to, what our accomplishments were, and then start to look forward to this year and what we want to accomplish. So if you've done that, you've likely come up with some goals around, how much income you want to be making, maybe how many properties you want to get. There's always a weight loss goal in there. Maybe it's around spending, more or less time with people, doing things you like, stopping things that you don't like, all of those types of things. And it's really great to have kind of that big vision of having that 1-year goal of, what you want things to look like in the long term. But what's also super important is then breaking that down into kind of manageable, achievable chunks over shorter periods of time. Because having that 1-year goal, there's nothing like super urgent about it. It's kind of like, yeah, in 12 months time, I'll be making £5,000 a month. Yeah, I've got 12 months to do that. And then most people just tend to work slowly towards it, think about it once in a while, but you just have that comfortable feeling that it's way in the future, I don't have to worry about it too much. But if you break that down into smaller chunks that you can kind of monitor along the way. So I suggest breaking it down into quarterly milestones. So if you look at, say, I want to make £5,000 per month by the end of the year, so I want to be generating that much. Then you can kind of break it down and say, all right, that means by June, so midway through the year, I want to be making maybe half of that. So I need to get at least halfway there by June to know that I'm on track for making £5,000 a month by the end of the year. So by June, you want to be making kind of £2,500 profit per month from your properties. All right, well, June is still, 6 months away, so we've still got quite a bit of time till then. So then if we take it one step closer and bring it to the end of March, so what are we looking to achieve by the end of the first quarter of the year? Now, it generally takes a little bit more time to kind of build up the momentum and get things started. So I wouldn't suggest kind of cutting it in half again and saying, all right, well, if I need 2,500 by June, well, that means I need 1,750, I think it would be, to be exactly half. Because sometimes it takes a little bit longer to build up that momentum in the first 3 months, and then in the second 3 months, you'll get even more. So I would say maybe £1,000. You want to be kind of at £1,000 profit per month by March, in order to reach 2,500 by June, in order to reach 5,000 by December. So those are kind of reasonable. And now we've brought it a bit closer. So you've got, we're halfway through January now, so that would be 2.5 months to generate £1,000 profit per month. Again, if we kind of look at that £1,000 profit, what does that mean property-wise? So if you're doing kind of HMOs, service accommodation, something like that, I'd say you'd be looking at probably 2 properties to get to at least £1,000 a month. So you need to be able to sign the contracts on 2 properties by the end of March. All right, so again, that's definitely achievable, and it's near enough that we think, all right, well, I've got to get going. And then I'd like you to break it down a little bit further. So what do you need to do to be able to kind of sign 2 contracts this month or this quarter? So in order to sign contracts, we need to find deals. So we need to have a number of deals and make offers on them. So we need to be finding deals and making offers. So what do we need to do to kind of find deals and make offers? We need to do viewings. So we need to be getting out there and looking at properties. And again, this is a place where I see a lot of people kind of falling down, especially in the beginning of their property journey. They're a bit nervous, a bit too scared. They feel like they need to know absolutely everything before they get out there and do viewings because, they don't want to lose the deal if they don't know exactly what to do during the viewing. Where I think exactly the opposite. I think you should get out there and do as many viewings as possible, make the mistakes, take the learnings, and that's what's going to help you get the deals. So it's not being absolutely perfect on your first viewing. It's learning from what you do at your first viewing, your second viewing, your first 20 viewings. It's understanding how it works and getting the practice and the real life examples in there. So I suggest in order to, make offers and get deals, you need to be doing as many viewings as possible. And when we're looking at rent to rent, it doesn't work for everybody. Or if you're looking at, sourcing BMV deals, BMV offers don't work for every landlord and every property owner. So you need to be getting out there, and it's all a numbers game. So in order to do lots of viewings, you need to have lots of leads coming in your pipeline, because not every lead turns into a viewing, not every viewing turns into a deal, not every deal turns into kind of a contract signed at the end of the day. So the more leads you have, the more chances you have for a good viewing that will turn into a deal, that will turn into a contract. So how do you get as many leads as possible? There are so many different ways of finding leads. That's one of the things we're doing in kind of the little challenge that I'm running this week, is we're looking each day at 5 different lead generation techniques. Now, the focus is on rent to rent, but these aren't just for rent to rent. We're looking at things like Gumtree and Rightmove and stuff like that, and talking through how to find the leads. So lead generation is super, super, super important for your rent to rent business, because it leads to the viewings, which lead to your deals, which lead to your contracts, which lead to you meeting your quarterly, semi-annual, and annual goals. So without kind of breaking it down to that level, it's more and more and more difficult to reach your end goal. So when again, I need to make £1,000 per month by the end of March. And then the more experience you get, the better you'll be able to say, all right, well, I know in order to negotiate a contract, I need to make offers on 10 properties, and at least 1 out of every 10 turns into a deal, or at least maybe in the beginning, 1 out of every 50 turns into a deal, 1 out of every 100 turns into a deal. But when you start to know those kind of things, and all right, well, if I need to make 10 offers to get a deal, how many viewings do I need to do to make 10 offers? Well, I might need to do 100 viewings to find 10 that I want to make an offer on. All right, well, in order to do 100 viewings, I need to have 150 leads. So 150 leads, I know, will turn into at least 100 of them coming back and saying, yes, let's do a viewing. If I view 100 properties, I know at least 10 of those will come back and I'll make an offer and we'll do a deal. And at least 1 of those will come and actually fall through all the way to the contract phase. So that's what I just wanted to talk about, because I think it's really important to be able to kind of analyze what you're doing and how you're working and what kind of results you're getting. And those numbers are going to be different for everybody, and they're going to be different as you get more experienced. It'll take you less viewings and less offers to get deals. But in the beginning, the more data you have, and again, the more viewings you do, the better things are going to be. The more you're going to learn, the more confident you're going to be, and the more comfortable you're going to be. Those first few viewings might go horribly, horribly wrong. Or like I didn't go straight away and, do viewings and explain my whole life story and exactly what I wanted to do with the property and all the things I learned in all my training courses. I was absolutely terrified. I'm actually quite a huge introvert. May not look like this, but from behind the computer screen, totally comfortable because I'm sitting at home alone. When I'm out in front of people, it's really difficult for me. So I didn't really like doing viewings. I didn't like talking to people. I didn't want to do this at all. But I found that as I moved up step by step, it got easier and easier. So as I practiced, basically, it all just comes down to, getting out there, doing it, practicing, and taking the learnings. So in the beginning, I wouldn't tell them exactly what I was doing. I didn't have, the perfect script written down. I probably sounded like a bit of an idiot. I mean, none of those first viewings turned into any kind of deal. I did them with both agents and with landlords. I mean, these landlords are looking at me like, what the hell is this person talking about? But the more I did, the more experience I got, the more confident I got, and the easier it became. So that's why I say in the beginning, it'll take you a little while to build up the momentum. So you're probably not going to get your profit goals evenly throughout the year. You'll have a little bit less in the beginning. But for me, when we started my rent-to-rent business, I basically said January, I made those decisions and was like, all right, something has to change. I'm going to do rent-to-rent. So it took a good 3 months, actually. We didn't actually get our first deal for about 4 months. So we signed it in kind of April timeframe, and then we got the keys in May. So I didn't actually start making any money until kind of 5-6 months into it. But it just took that time to build up the momentum because I was starting from pretty much nothing. I had never done any property before. I don't even own my own house, so I had no idea what was going to happen. So it took that time to build it up. But in that time, I was getting as many leads as I could coming into my pipeline so that I could do as many viewings as possible. And then I could make offers. And, most of my offers, everybody said no. But as I did it, I learned and got comfortable and confident. So that's why I think lead generation is super, super important. I'll try to pop a link down in the comments here after I finish the video with how to sign up for the 5-day challenge, because then you can pop into the Facebook group and catch up on the videos and the emails so that you can, if you're not already part, there are already hundreds of people in the group, but if you're not already a part of it, it can help you, just give you some ideas of how you can start generating some leads. And that is the very first step to kind of getting any kind of business going, is you want to get the leads coming in the door. So that's it for me for Live at Lunchtime today. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2018, and I will see you again soon.